So without further ado, we'll have Victoria Reese introduce herself, and I'll see you all in a minute. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I won't assume it's just ladies, but I'll just say hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. I also want to acknowledge my We Are Ilmatic sisters that may be here joining. Thanks for supporting, and make sure you comment and let everybody know that you're here. I want to start with a quote to set the tone for today. The most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman. Malcolm X. I'd like to spend our time together today by telling you my story. I'll share with you a plan to mobilize and make change in the MS community, and I'll tell you how you can help. In January 2012, I moved to Los Angeles, California. In May 2012, I turned 25 and I was living an amazing life. In September 2012, I began experiencing numbness in my legs over the course of several months. It had gotten so bad that at times I had to crawl to my car or sit in stairways until someone could come get me. I visited my primary care physician to tell him about what I was experiencing, and he had me get an MRI done on my legs because that's where the issues were happening. Since my results came back clear on the MRI, my doctor asked me what kind of work I did for a living. At the time, I was working as a Hollywood assistant at a reputable, fast-paced talent agency, and I was admittedly under a lot of pressure. I was stressed. He was confident that my symptoms were due to stress and prescribed me antidepressants, although I was confident that that wasn't what I was experiencing. Depression, legs, I don't know how that makes sense, but that's what I was told. I knew it was something else, but I went ahead, took the medicine. A few weeks later, I experienced an excruciating migraine that lasted over 10 hours. I didn't normally get headaches, so I knew that was weird. I woke up the next morning with numbness on the left side of my face from my scalp to my chin. I went back to that same doctor, and he had me get another MRI, but this time on my brain and on my spine. This x-ray came back showing 9 lesions on my brain. He suggested that I see a neurologist, but he was now confident that this was MS. He printed out a description of what MS was with a few pieces of paper stapled together, gave me that piece of paper or those pieces of paper, and I left that doctor's office a different person. The truth is, Black women are often dismissed or ignored by medical care providers. It was then confirmed that the numbness I had been experiencing for months were MS flare-ups or relapses. Had I not listened to my body, I would have went through flare-up after flare-up, taking antidepressants as a remedy. As I attempted to read through those pieces of paper that doctor gave me to learn more about MS, I would get sick to my stomach. I would become overwhelmed with fear, and I would just cry. I'd hide those papers underneath my bed, just like I started to do with my feelings, avoiding them until I was ready to deal with it at a later time, instead of facing it head on. I guess I thought that reading it made it more real. To be honest, the emotional challenges were far more painful for me than the physical challenges. It took me about 6 months to be able to read the papers he gave me. However, when I was able to do thorough research, I scoured through articles and would only see images of older white people. If I did see someone of color, they didn't represent me. They either were older or white or, I don't know, nothing resonated with me. I didn't see myself. It was 2012 at the time, and the most recent studies I could find on African Americans living with MS were from 1990. 2012 to 1990, not cool. To be honest, after my diagnosis, I'm not trying to be funny, but I felt numb. I felt confused. No one in my family has MS. Afraid. I had no idea what to expect or to do next. I felt ashamed. You can't really accept your diagnosis until you accept the emotions that come with it. Alone. My family was 3,000 miles away from me, and I had to deal with this like a big girl. And I felt sorrow. Like, why me? I'm one of the most driven people you'll ever meet. All I could think of were the plans I made for my long life and my full life. I've already had to overcome so many obstacles in my life, and now this. Seeking support wasn't an innate next step for me. I'm a Black girl born and raised in Detroit, Michigan by a Black single mother. As a Black community, we don't do no therapy. We don't do support groups. We don't do national societies or anything else that says we actually need help. I believe that's a cultural characteristic. Historically, people of color or people from underserved communities are not knowledgeable of the benefits of those types of things, nor do we have access to resources. So I depended on the internet to educate me in my new normal. And because I'm a true millennial, I took to social media to express myself and what I was going through. It took me about 4 years to actually meet another person that also had MS. That is not normal. Another Black person, I mean. I had attended an in-person support group, and all I remember thinking during the session was how even in a room full of people living with MS, I still didn't fit in. Representation is important on several levels within the MS community. Disabled versus able-bodied, young versus old, rich versus poor. There's differences, and it's important to feel seen. At that support group meeting, I noticed how the people of color gravitated towards each other at the end of the meeting. It was a natural community within a community. We saw ourselves within each other. And for the first time while living with MS, I saw myself. Some reports say that certain symptoms may be more prevalent amongst people of color than those who are not. For that reason alone, finding community matters. More importantly, the more we emphasize that Black people get MS too, the more research that can be done. So in 2017, I created an awareness campaign called We Are Illmatic. I saw a void and I knew not to wait for anyone else to fix it. I also knew that even if they tried, that no one could relate to a Black woman like a Black woman. I wanted to see people who looked like me. Little did I know hundreds of other Black women needed the same thing, and most of them have been navigating MS for decades, all while being unseen. Now in 2020, we transformed We Are Illmatic into We Are Ill, which is a nonprofit organization. We're a patient advocacy organization with the vision to redefine what sick looks like for Black identifying women living with MS. Our goal is to build a fearless community and create culturally competent educational materials. By facilitating more robust discussions on the experiences of Black women living with MS, We Are Ill is changing the narrative of MS to not only improve the overall health outcomes of Black women, but also to eradicate this disease. So why the focus on Black women? Because it's our time, because I wanted to, because I'm a Black woman. We've earned it. Have you seen the Black maternal mortality rates? I won't even go there since we're here to talk about MS, but we need to be better taken care of, period. We're perceived by society to be strong, so strong that we have a higher tolerance for pain or distress. Not true, nor do we want to keep that going. On the flip side, Black women have had to be so strong for so long that we do actually have a superwoman complex that at times makes us not prioritize ourselves. We're also leaders in our family. We're heads of households. The truth is, Black women have been holding it down for centuries. Black women lead. We contribute to change we want to see. We're used to being at the forefront of making change, and we can start by being informed and join in the efforts for more inclusion. Simply put, Black women need to be protected. In the US, we have a 47% increased risk of MS compared to white women. Among African Americans as a whole, women had triple the risk of MS compared to men. We also deal with higher rate of delayed diagnosis. Now is the time to advocate for our health as a collective. So here's what I want you to do. This is a call to action. Hold the healthcare system and the medical industry as a whole accountable. We need access to quality care. We need to see solid plans to make that happen. Representation, it matters. Include us in the narrative. in the MS narrative. We want to be seen. That means in marketing efforts, in marketing materials, pamphlets, website, booklets. The face of MS is not just white. It looks just like this one and just like yours. They need to address medical mistrust. We all are familiar with the Tuskegee experiment, Henrietta Lacks, and countless other things. We need to address that. And then we, as a community, as a Black community, need to heal from that distrust. Participation in clinical trials. Perhaps if we felt more taken care of, more trust, then perhaps we would participate more. But right now, there's poor or low enrollment in clinical trials. We have to be the change we want to see. If we want the medical industry to understand how medicine works and how MS affects us differently, we have to be a participant in clinical trials for things to pan out. We want to hold the medical industry accountable. We want diversity in educational materials so that they are relatable to us and speak to us. We also want to hold them accountable for the requirements to participate in those clinical trials. Sometimes the requirements don't include us. And lastly, build a solid community for us. Find your tribe. A support system is so important. I know we have our families, our loved ones, but finding people that actually have MS with you, that may be Black, and that may be a woman, that's the tribe that is the most supportive. I wish I had stumbled across an organization like We Are Ill when I was 25 and newly diagnosed. I was 25, I had no kids, but I wanted kids, so I needed to see a mom that had been living with MS. I knew that I wanted a successful career, so I needed to see a career woman that has been living with MS. Maybe my journey would have been different. So join a support group, because being seen and heard is liberating. I'd like for you all to stay updated on the work that we're doing. So there's places that you can find us. You can visit our website at weareillms.com and subscribe. We'll be sending out newsletters and we'll keep you updated on the things that we're doing. You can follow us on Instagram at weareillmatic. I wish you all love and light, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm so thankful for the MS Society for allowing me to speak today, but I'm also thankful for you guys for joining and listening to what I have to say.